everyone, and welcome back to Werkin Girls. I'm Trinity the Tuck.
And I am Ginger the Minge.
And we're super excited to be back. We took a couple of weeks vacation. You know, we are Werkin Girls, so we have a lot going on. So I'm super excited. We're going to catch up today. It's just going to be me and you today, Ginger.
I know. Well, and you said, you take a couple weeks for vacation. Girl, I wish that I had a vacation. Like, I'm very happy to be back to work, but it wasn't like, dip your toes in the water, get used to it. It was push us right off into the deep end.
Oh, girl, you have been, especially you, because you are like right now on TV again. So,
yes.
Yeah, and it's almost at the end. We haven't really talked about All Stars because all of our recordings have been pretty much before the season aired. So today we get to catch up on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been weird. It's been interesting being back on TV after so long.
And first of all, you are not in Orlando. That's why we are in two different rooms, because you are doing another project. What are you doing? And where are you?
Right now I'm in Provincetown, and I got here about a week ago, and I'm going to be here through September 11th, my birthday. I'm doing 4 shows a week here at the Art House. It's great. It's wonderful. I've always wanted to play P-Town. I sound like an old cabaret singer. I've always wanted to play P-Town. And I finally got the chance, and it's been going well. I've been selling out every show, standing ovation.
What is your show about here?
About an hour long. And that's about it. Like, it's my big gay cabaret. So the audience kind of facilitates what happens. They get to pick what songs I do. I have an opening and a closing. We play some games, and then I tell stories and sing songs. So every show is different. It's really fun. I'm having a good time.
If I could sing, I'd probably do that too.
Hey, you have sung plenty. Just because you can't carry a tune has never stopped you before.
You were right, but I don't know that I would sell tickets to that. But maybe they would. Maybe they wanted to hear horrible songs.
Yeah,
yeah, I could sing your songs for you.
It's all art.
You spelled very interestingly. Well, let's talk about All Stars 6. I'm super excited. I've been watching and loving everything. You're like such a superstar on this season.
Thank you. It's weird because it's been so long since I've been on TV in the realm of Drag Race. You know, I've been doing other projects, which it's just a different beast, you know. And both of my original seasons were on Logo still. So the fan base has definitely, I won't say it's changed, but it's expanded. And it's a lot. It's a lot. But it is the first time that I have like had such an overwhelming amount of love and support from the fan base, which it's different for me. You know, season 7, I kind of became a bitchy little villain at the end of it. And All Stars 2, I just wasn't around long enough to really make an impression either way. So it's been good. It's been really good.
So right now in the competition, they just eliminated Eureka. For spoiler alert! If you don't want to know what's going on, then turn this off now. So they've just eliminated Eureka, and so the top 4 right now is you, Raja, Sonique Love, and Trinity.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, girl, you can't forget Trinity. You got the same name.
No, I was just trying to remember everybody's name. But yeah, so that's a very good cast. You're all Southern queens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good. What has been your favorite part of the season so far?
I've really enjoyed doing the challenges that are like super different, because I think for this All Stars, they kind of went, let's shake it up. Let's do a whole bunch of different things we've never done before. Because, you know, like after a while, it starts to fit a certain mold. So it's like, well, we know that there's going to be a girl group challenge, and we know there's going to be an improv challenge. This year, I feel like they've really gone outside of the box and said, okay, well, we're going to do this drag tots thing where you have to create a cartoon character and then become the mascot for that. I grew up in Orlando. I love Disney and Universal and all that shit. I was like, I can be a mascot, girl. That's fine. Um, and there's a couple, like, there's some more things coming up on the season that are also very different than I think people expect. So I like it. It's been keeping people guessing. And the cast has been so strong that, it's really kind of like some days it feels like, well, if you had worn a gold earring, you probably would have won this challenge. But since you wore silver, you're going home. Like it's really close.
What's really interesting to me is the 3 out of the top 4 didn't make it to their original, like to the end of their seasons before.
Mhm.
You're the only one that made it this far before. So I think that's amazing that you see growth in how much people have grown since their season. I mean, Kylie Sonique has completely changed. Trinity seems to have like really found her groove, found her voice. Raja is gotten such a way better edit, because I'm sure she's not much different than her original season. She just got a different edit. I mean, that's my opinion.
Well, I think I agree to that on some extent, but I also really feel like Raja has just kind of relaxed into herself a little bit more. Because
yeah,
when you go on TV, especially the first time, you're so worried about how people are going to perceive you, how the judges are going to perceive you, how well you're going to do, how poorly you might do, that you just get caught up in your head.
yeah.
And for me, season 7, I just kind of went in there and didn't expect anything. And I think that's why I made it to the end, because I just kind of took one day at a time. But All Stars 2, that's when I went in and I was so in my head about, okay, I've got to do this so that people won't hate me for that. But if I do that, then I have to do this because the judges will need to see this as well. And I couldn't get out of my own way.
Yeah. Well,
And
you're definitely not that now. Like, you've really become almost like the mama of the group. Like, you feel real confident, but not cocky. Like, you've really stepped up your runway game. Like, you look gorgeous. I mean, you've excelled in all the challenges that we expect you to excel in. But I feel like those are the things that I feel like you have like improved for yourself, which is amazing.
well,
I
that's
mean,
what's been
I might be biased because we're both from the same city and we're friends, and we have a podcast together, but I kind of see you as like the front runner.
well, I'd like to see myself as the front runner as well. And it's so funny because you go online and all these kids have come. I call them kids. I call everybody kids. I call my mom a kid sometimes. All these people have come up with their own different scoring systems. And I'm talking like hundreds of them across the world, and they all think that theirs is right. And so I'll get tagged, and me and the other girls will get tagged on Instagram in this thing that it's like 500 different versions of who's in first place statistically and who's in last place. And it changes every time. And I'm like, it really doesn't work that way. As much as we would like to say, okay, this is the track record, there is not an actual scoring system. So
Yeah, All Stars is just a different game in the end anyway. I mean, the show in general from season 9 on changed. So like, to get to the top 4, it kind of was like what your track record was, and then after you got to the top 4, it's almost like what you did through the season didn't matter, because it's all lip sync. I don't know what's in store for y'all's finale, but that's kind of how it's been with other All Stars and from season 9 on. So I think people should just enjoy the show instead of like trying to predict based off of their track record, because in the end, I mean, you have people like Evie. I think Evie only won a single episode. She just won one episode, one challenge, and won the whole thing. So you can't really base it off of track record, like wins and stuff.
well, and as much as I would like to sit back and go, okay, I know that I've won too many challenges, and like I won the reading challenge, was like the biggest mini challenge you can win. I won 2 of those, 2 challenges, and I'm the only one that's won both of my lip syncs at this point. So like I would like to sit back and go, I'm in a great position. But we've seen it go any kind of way. You never know what the finale holds. So I'm excited. I'm just excited as everybody else to see how it's going to shake out.
Is there anything that hasn't been shown that is like a little tidbit for the fans to know about?
Yes.
Yes. What? Tell us.
Yes. I am so surprised. We were talking about this in our little group. We were all a little surprised that on this past episode, the Drag Tots episode, they didn't show the fact that Kylie broke all of our sewing machines.
She broke
All of them. She started with hers and it just went boom, 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 boom. She's like, oh, I have the bad machine. I have the bad machine. Can I use yours, Eureka? So she went over and girl, 5 minutes later, we hear boom, 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 boom. Breaks Eureka's machine. So then she goes over to Trinity's machine, boom, 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 breaks that one. Finally comes over to mine, and I had the only working machine in the room at that point. So like Raja and I kept switching off and sharing it. And girl, what you know it, she comes over and just boom, 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 bust that machine too.
How does she break all these machines? Was her fabric like, was it sequin or something?
No, Mary, it was spandex.
How do you break machines on spandex? That's like the easiest fabric to sew.
It is, but I also feel, I mean, you know that those are old rickety crickety sewing machines that are there. They're not the best in the first place. The needles are old. Some of them are gunked up from all that sequin dot fabric. But also, if you don't have a basic knowledge of sewing, you don't know, like, if so I like all of mine was that real thick sequin on velvet. So I had to really adjust the tension and this, that, and the other thing to make it go through. But if you don't readjust that for a different fabric, that fabric just started slinging through that machine so fast it was pulling it into the foot and just gunking it up. So they dug up one more that we all had to use to share to finish our outfits. But it was so funny, and I don't say that to like shade her. I just thought it was really funny, and I was surprised they didn't show it because it was such a big thing in the room.
Was there any eliminations that were really shocking to the cast, like that y'all didn't think was going to happen, but did?
Well, I think Jan's elimination was, it was so shocking. And I know it was a split decision. So like some people thought Jan should go home. Some people thought that Pandora should go home. Whatever. That wasn't the shocking part. The shocking part was that for the first time ever, it was a tie. And none of us knew how that tie was going to be broken. We didn't know if they were going to make them lip sync for their lives. We didn't know if they were going to make us all revote or anything. So all of a sudden, RuPaul goes, well, according to the rule book, which P.S., where's this rule book? Where did it come from? Because I would like to read a copy of it before I compete, please. She said, according to it, reverts back to the top all-star. And girl,
that's the bullshit she just made up on the spot, bitch.
Well, Trinity thought she was free and clear and didn't have to make her decision. So she had stepped to the back of the stage and she was bitter as cat piss that she still had to come up and make the call.
Well, I don't know why she would be mad, because if you eliminate that person, then, you know, they're gone. So, you know, the person that would be mad is gone. So the person you save would probably be on your side for the future.
Well, yeah, probably. But I don't know. I think she seemed to have more than anybody else an issue with the voting every week.
Yeah.
Like it bothered all of us. Nobody wants to do it. You've been in that position. You don't want to do it. You don't want to be the reason that somebody's dream comes crashing down around them. But it is a part of the job.
Yeah.
If you sign up to do the job, you have to be comfortable with all aspects of it. Even if you don't like it, you got to make yourself comfortable with it. So every week she would just kind of like be mad that she had to make this decision. And it really just kind of fucked with her head a little bit. So I think in that moment, she was like, okay, I'm out of this equation completely. I'm going to step to the back and let it go. And then she got called back up.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I'm not really an emotional person too much. Like I don't really cry a lot, and in my journey through Drag Race, I haven't cried too much. But For All Stars, I won the first challenge. You don't really know how it feels until you're in that position.
Yeah.
And it's completely different feeling than Rue and the judges picking who's in the bottom. Like it's just completely different. And you know, that having to pick between at the time my friend, which was Farah, and then my other friend, which was Jasmine, you know, picking and not having a track record to go off of to make you feel a little bit better about, okay, well, I'm making the right decision. You know, you just have to just go with what you think. And it's kind of like it makes your stomach turn. It definitely is something, like you said, like ripping somebody's dream away from them. You know, it sucks. So I hated that part, but you're right. Like it's part of the game. And if you want to be on All Stars, you now know that that is definitely a part of the game.
Yeah. Well, and like when I eliminated Scarlett, I put a lot of thought into that. And to me, it was the only fair decision because people were like, how can you say it's the only way you can sleep at night? Because it was the only fair thing to do. Kylie had been in the top. She hadn't won anything, but she'd been in the top. And Jan, even though she had been in the bottom before, had just won the week before. Whereas Scarlett had just been safe all the way through. And to me, like, if we were talking about track record and going off of judges' critiques and this, that, and the other thing, it felt like the only fair thing to do was to say, all right, you have the weakest track record out of this. And she wasn't on a team with me. So like I saw how hard Jan was working to try to fix these things the judges were telling her. It was the only thing that made sense to me to do. And I thought that like in my heart of hearts, I was doing the right thing. And then, girl, those people are still wearing me out on the internet.
Girl, it's a TV show. People need to get over it. It's just a TV show. You can't blame these people. Would be so bored if everything was just so kumbaya. Speaking of not kumbaya, was there any like drama that like wasn't really aired or that happened off camera?
No, there really wasn't. And it feels like this season, you know, a lot of people I've seen online, well, most people are like, oh, look, it's RuPaul's best friends race. This is actually really nice. But there's some people that are like, look how fake all these bitches are. No, what I think a lot of people don't really take into consideration is that this season is so unique because of the way it was filmed. Like we were at the height of a pandemic. At this point, we had all been locked up in our respective homes for months and months and months. So we didn't have the resources, we didn't have time, we didn't have communication with other people. So when we got in that room, it was the first time we were allowed to perform. It was the first time we were allowed to hug somebody, to be around somebody. So the general vibe was very positive.
Yeah.
And it just, I think if it had happened with this cast outside of that kind of bubble, there would have been potential for a lot more drama. But we were just so excited to be doing something, creating art and being together.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel like you said that you've gotten a lot more love from the fans than before, but how do you feel like your perception has been with the fans, like majority of the fans? I know you said you had a lot of love, but like I know how, girl, being on the show, especially coming back for All Stars, how some of the fans can be with it being a TV show. Like is there anything that you regret saying or doing because of the way that it came across? Or
no, the one moment that, other than choosing to eliminate Scarlett, the one moment that people have clung to was when, after I eliminated Scarlett, I had a conversation with Kylie where I told her, you know, I was close to picking your lipstick. And it wasn't shown in full context. So it does seem kind of like I was coming for her, trying to get in her head, when she'll be the first one to tell you the continuation of that conversation was, I would almost picture lipstick, but when you came to me with all of that passion, I saw how much you wanted to be here. So I'm only telling you this because I want you to take that same feeling and take it into the next challenge. because once you do that, once you take what you feel in here and put it out here for the world to see, you're going to be unstoppable. And that was the full conversation.
Yeah.
But it's also just not that interesting, you know? So it ends up on the cutting room floor.
That's the thing, is that people need to realize that the show, it's a reality show. It's more of a reality show. And when I say reality, it's in quotation marks. It's a produced show. So even more so than a competition, it's not like a pageant. Like, most pageants, you have a point system. The person with the most points wins. That's what it is. This is a produced show. They have to have a story that they tell about each character that's on there. That's just it's a TV show. They have to. Like, there's no way getting around it. And so people just need to enjoy it for what it is. You can't be mad at the characters that are on TV. They're characters. They're not necessarily the full representation of each person in real life, because it's a different situation. It's a competition. It's also edited, and that's just what it is. And there's nothing wrong with it.
And you can be mad at the characters on TV, but that doesn't mean that it gives you the right to attack the people that are behind those characters.
Right.
Personally, because it just, like, one of my favorite shows ever, and I get shit about this all the time, is Dance Moms. I loved Dance Moms because those bitches were crazy. The kids were so talented, and I love that part of it. But also on the complete opposite end of that, the moms were insane. And Abby Lee Miller was the ringleader of it all. And I just remember going into fan groups and stuff. And this is way back, like before I was even on Drag Race the first time. I would go through fan groups and see the things that people were saying, not only about these women, but to them. And then it would like trickle down to the kids, these little girls that were on this dance show. And it took my breath away, because I was like, why would you take time out of your day to go and tell this person something about them that A, if it's true, they already know that, and B, doesn't concern you at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's what has helped me get through all of this over 3 seasons. This season, it's been very interesting, because it's like, when I don't win a challenge, the fans attack me and they're like, girl, why aren't you winning? Or you should have won, or da 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 da. And then the very next week I could win the challenge and they go, you shouldn't have won. This person should have won. Like, why are you it? So it's a damned if you do and damned if you don't kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it is, I think, with everyone. I think that there's very few girls that get through the Drag Race experience unscathed. I don't think there's probably anybody, really. I mean, everybody goes through it. So it's definitely something that makes you wonder what the hell is wrong with some people. Like these trolls that are doing that. And it's not the majority of the fan base. I mean, because you clearly have a huge following. We all have a huge following. So it's not our supporters. It's the people who are trolling. They have to wait way too much time on their hands to go out there and spread rumors and hate and all this stuff without facts, or, without context, or just because they just want to be assholes.
Yeah.
So it is kind of crazy. I did a podcast with someone from the UK yesterday, and they asked me, how did I handle going from not being famous to being famous with dealing with social media and stuff. And it's, nobody can prepare you. That's what I told them. Nobody can prepare you for getting in this kind of situation, because, when we're not doing anything really different than what we did before Drag Race. We're doing drag. That's what we did. You did it for years and years and years. I did it for years and years and years. And then we get this platform that's something much, much larger, and we're still doing the same thing we were doing before, but you can't say the same jokes that you said, in your shows when people were coming and laughing. You can't, do this, and you can't do that. And, even if you're yourself or doing something that's not really politically incorrect, they're still going to come after you, because it's just part of it. But there are so many positive things for being on such a large platform. And you know, I'm super grateful for what we've done. And girl, you're in the running to win. I mean, I don't know what's about to happen, but
I don't either. That's the other funny thing, and I know that you've been there before, is that people will come up to you and be like, did you win? Did you win? Come on, you can tell me if you won. You're like, I don't know. Yes, you do. No, I don't. We don't know until it happens.
Yeah, you don't know, because they filmed multiple endings to the finale. I don't know if that's what they did for you, but in my experience in the seasons that I have done, they've filmed multiple endings, so you really don't know until the episode airs. And they haven't had a big girl in the US win.
No.
So that would be a first.
I will say that as I inch closer and closer and closer to the finale, I have noticed that what happened to me on season 7 with the majority of the fan base is starting to trickle in again, as far as like people are, now that they see me as a threat for the crown, they're starting to let their fat phobia show.
Oh,
They're
no.
starting to come through and be like, you don't deserve to win. You shouldn't have won any of your challenges. You didn't deserve to win the reading challenge. You didn't deserve this. You shouldn't even be back. Da, 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 da. And when people call them out and ask them for a reason, it's always something to do with, I hate that fat bitch, or that fat bitch should go home. It's always something about my weight.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, that really kind of says more about you than it does about me. And
these trolls, I feel like unless you are like one of the very young, early 20s, pretty skinny white girls, they're not interested in you. I mean, like I'm skinny, but like, and I'm white, but I'm not young. And you know, so I fall into a different category, kind of like your fat thing. It's, they just don't like me because I'm not that young, you know, what they would say, quote unquote, fashion queen. And so it's bizarre how some of these fans, all they want is the same type of cookie cutter queen to win.
Yeah, which really is a shame, because the more diversity that we can get inside of the winner circle, the more representation that we can show to the rest of the world, I think the more it's going to help everybody. It's not just about helping me and helping fat people and to succeed and all this kind of stuff. It's about showing that, particularly in America, where we're supposed to be the land of the free and diversity and this, that, and the other thing, it goes to show you that no matter who you are or where you're from or what you've done, you too can grow up to accomplish your goals and live your dreams and be successful. That's what America is. It's like the land where you go to dream and make things happen.
If you don't win, who do you want to win?
Nobody. Cancel the rest of the season. Burn the footage.
Yes, bitch. Yes, that's a good answer. Fuck all.
In all honesty, I wish that they hadn't done a tie up to this point, Miss Thing, because I feel like all like the people who make it to the finale are worthy of winning for one way or like one reason or another. And I feel like in a season where it was so difficult just to make the season happen, it would be nice to reward several people, as long as it's not splitting up the money.
Now I know, like, don't tell us what it is, but is there any like anything else that's going to happen that's a twist that we aren't expecting?
I don't know, because I don't know what you're expecting.
Okay, well, something that's not like the general seasons in the past. Like, is there any twists that happen? You don't have to tell us what it is, but
I don't think that there's anything really like earth-shatteringly different. I think the nuances are different, but like the general flow is kind of the same.
Okay. All right. I'm excited to see what this finale is.
I am too. No, I will say the finale, the overall vibe of the finale is different than any of the like the All Stars finales in the past.
Oh,
Just a little, like the vibe of it, not the overall, but it's just It's fun. I like it.
Who were you closest to on the season?
It varied from
It
week to week.
Okay.
Because when you're in that room, some weeks you're working one-on-one with somebody and you get really close, and then the next week you work one-on-one with somebody else and you start to build that relationship. I think overall I was very close with Kylie, with Raja, with Trinity, which it's weird to say that, knowing that now we are in the top four together. But I think that that's because the four of us, we really communicated well. We really like had each other's backs. We were helpful. I'm not a seamstress by any means, but Trinity was always there to help me figure out like how to put on a sleeve or how to do this or do that. And then her and Kylie would come over and they didn't show this. Like I coached Kylie for the acting challenge, even though she got the role that I wanted. I sat there and I told her, I was like, so this is kind of what you need to do. And you got to tap into this and make sure you watch your diction, but keep the inflections up. And so we helped each other. And I liked all of them. I did not expect to get as close to Eureka as I did.
Oh.
Because
I will say, I like, because I competed with her on season 9, and we didn't have the greatest relationship for a while after that, and since then we have cleared things up for sure. But I do find her way more likable this season than season 9 and season 10.
Yeah.
She's way more likable. What I think it is, what I find, and this is just my observation, it could be wrong, but it's just my observation. I find when people get that recognition that they need, that they're doing good with, it could be outside of Drag Race or in Drag Race, whatever that is, when they finally get that recognition, and it kind of makes them sit back and be like, okay, I'm okay now. I don't have to like just be raw.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened to Eureka. I feel like she has her HBO show, and she's went through the motions of all this other stuff, and has kind of like gotten comfortable with herself since season 10. And she's just a different, at least from what I gather, I haven't worked with her too much, but on the show she just comes across way different, which I love. I'm so happy for her.
To me, she's very much the same as she always was, but in a very natural way.
Yeah.
Like I said with Raja, she just kind of relaxed into who she was, and she's okay with that. And I think that happened for a lot of us. Like a lot of people are talking about me this season being like, they said it is still kind of the same Ginger, but you just seem like you're having fun. You seem like you're so likable this time. And it's because I like myself better than I did all those years ago. And B, I learned that people are not attracted to inauthentic people. So if you're not just kind of being yourself and doing what you do and living your life earnestly, nobody's gonna give a fuck.
Yeah.
And so I went into this one just bound and determined to have a good time, because All Stars 2 season 7 was a great experience. All Stars 2, worst experience of my life. Literally, like, made me suicidal. I talked about it on the show, and they didn't air that, but somebody had asked me why I came back, and I said because I have to be able to release that trauma from All Stars 2. It was a very traumatic time for me, a very traumatic experience. And I refused to allow that to happen again. So I went in and I was like, I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to have a good time, and I don't give a shit what anybody else says.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you've done great. You've put your best foot forward. You do come across way more likable. I know that like a lot of the fans, like you had said before, they were giving you shit about your entrance look, but you have definitely shown them on the runway, because like your patterned look with the butterfly catcher thing was super, super cute. I loved your gothy looking baby doll dress. I mean, you just had some great looks, some of the best looks of the season. So I think that you've really shown who Ginger Minj is. And I mean, you've proven yourself outside of the show. Like you're an accomplished actress, singer, comedian. back page solicitor.
Well, and that's another thing that like my previous seasons cost. I got into drag because of theater,
Yeah.
and in theater you don't handle your costumes or your makeup or your wigs, like somebody else does that for you and you just go and perform.
Yeah.
So then I went and did um season 7. I had no money at all. So we did the good old community theater and went down to every thrift store and raided everybody's closet and started cutting stuff up and putting it together. And even if I didn't like things, I was like, well, they know better than I do because they design costumes. So when I got torn apart for wearing those things, I didn't give a shit because it's like, I didn't design it. I don't care.
Yeah.
All Stars 2, same thing. I put all my faith and money in designers and had no say in it because I didn't trust myself. And it ended up backfiring on me. So this time going in, I was like, I haven't been working in months, so I have no money. I have to get resourceful again. But I also just want to do things and wear things that I like, that I think are fun and happy. And we did that and it has really paid off. And again, I think it goes back to being like just authentically you. If it's a representation of you and your art and how you feel and what you're putting together, I think people are more open to it.
There is a shit ton of drag race franchises that are coming out. You're in the midst of your season, which is All Star 6, which we have, I think, 2 more episodes left. I'm excited to see who wins. Hopefully you.
Hopefully
and then,
me.
Yes, hopefully you. And then they've just filmed 2 other franchises. Canada's coming out. Spain, Australia.
Holland just started.
Holland. They just announced the Philippines, which is so bizarre because they announced the Philippines drag race right after Manila had announced something called Drag Den, which is a drag competition. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out with a drag race queen hosting a non-drag race franchise.
Well, a non-drag race competitor.
Yeah.
Because like it would have been different if I think like, oh, there's no Drag Race Philippines, so it makes sense that they're doing their own thing and they're using a Drag Race girl. And now that they've announced that during Drag Race Philippines, it's kind of pitting them against each other. So
which is weird because I don't know for sure, but I don't think, Manila announced hers way before WOW. So like, I don't think Manila really probably knew that they were doing a Drag Race Philippines.
Oh, I guarantee you neither of like World of Wonder and Manila, neither of them knew the other was planning the other thing. Sometimes things like that just happen. It's like the pop art runway or the Madonna runway where everybody comes out in a kimono or everybody comes out with their face on their dress. Like you just have these ideas and sometimes they coincide.
So crazy. What is your favorite season of Drag Race ever?
Season 5.
Why?
I think season 5 is the perfect season because first of all, I knew every girl that was on that season except for Jinx at that time, but I knew of her because of theater. We had both played Hedwig and Hedwig and the Angry Inch around the same time. And that's another one where the fan base is very, very vocal.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of knew who she was and I was excited to see her. But I knew I was there for all the drama between Alyssa and Coco with Miss Gay America and all that. I loved Detox because we worked together in Orlando for so long. Of course, I knew Roxy for so long, working together. We'd done Continental Plus together for years. I was there when she got crowned. So I knew everybody going into it. And then I felt like the drama was iconic.
Oh, girl.
The drag was iconic, especially at that time. I felt like it was really pushing the level of the runways and everything up. And I felt like it was crowning Jinx was such a departure from everything that had come before her.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It was like one of the most iconic seasons ever. I also think All Stars 2 is one of the better seasons of Drag Race where it gives you unexpected twists. It was also a new setup than we've seen. The drama was real for that one too. And
I wasn't there for that mostly.
I mean, I wasn't there either, but just as a viewer, it was really, really good. I loved that season too. I mean, they've all had like their moments, but yours All Stars has been great. I'm super excited to see the last couple of episodes. I want to know what the hell's going on with this this twist with what's about to happen, the game within a game. And I guess we're about to find out this coming week or this week in a couple of days.
Week. The only thing that I'll say about it is it knocked me on my ass because I didn't realize there was a game within a game. You know,
none of y'all that was still in the game did.
No, well, and Rue came out at the very first time she walked into the workroom. She was like, this year it's a game within a game, and and just kept rattling shit off. So it didn't stick in my head. I wasn't like, oh, a game within a game, huh? What could this be? I thought these bitches were packing their bags and leaving.
Wow. No. Oh, you just gave us a clue. No,
I mean, with the game within a game. Well, girl, everybody gets a chance to play a game. Ooh. But I thought they were all like, as they got eliminated, they would pack up and leave and do all that kind of. No, they surprised all of us.
Well, I am super excited.
Good.
I'm really excited. So you're gonna be in Provincetown for how long?
I'm in Provincetown until my birthday, September 11th, which is a week after the crowning. So either come and see my show to console me or come and see my show to celebrate with me. Either way, just come and see my show.
Yeah, I was going to say this should be out before then. So please go get your tickets if you are in P-Town or going to P-Town or make a special trip to see her in P-Town. Are you doing meet and greets or anything?
There are VIP meet and greets after the show. It's being done in a very safe, very distanced way, but everybody still gets the good old Ginger Minge experience. They get the conversation, the picture, all that good stuff, but we make sure we keep everybody safe.
Is there any other major projects that you can talk about right now that are coming out?
Sure. So I just filmed a Christmas movie, which will be coming out, of course, around Christmas. It was really fun because we were filming it in LA in July and August. So we're like out in 110-degree weather, girl, pretending it's chilly outside with our sweaters, our puffy vests, our scarves, our earmuffs, and all that kind of shit.
Oh my God, you had to have been boiling.
We were, and they would call cut, and people would run over and just sop up all the sweat, powder us down, and go, quick, roll again, roll again. But it was really fun. And then my new album comes out. My first single drops not next week, but the week after. So the week after
an album.
I did, but the first one was just kind of like a fun thing. I wanted to release some club music so that when I go to clubs, I have something I can dance around to. But this next one it's a country album. I've been working on it for a while. It's really good. And when I say it's country, I mean, it is country music. It is not drag queen attempts to sing country music with some
You're talking about like Tammy Wynette.
I'm talking about Reba McEntire, Winona Judd, like all of those, Martina McBride, little Garth Brooks, you know, we're going to throw it all in there. All the country music that I grew up with, it's that vibe, but it's called Double Wide Diva, and it tells my life story through songs. And there's one ballad and the rest of them are all just really fun. Like, it's good music. That's real good.
I can't wait to hear. Oh, there's one thing that I wanted to talk to you about. So am I crazy?
Yeah.
You had a song on your last album that you just released recently, and Kylie has a song with the same exact name. How did this happen? Did y'all know that was happening? Was that just a coincidence?
Well, we knew it was happening before it happened, but it was another one of those like World of Wonder versus Manila things where It was the same idea that just kind of happened separately. And then when I released my album with Do It Like Dolly on it, Kylie was like, hey girl, just so you know, I wrote a song and I recorded it. We're doing a music video and everything, and it's called Do It Like Dolly, and I don't have time to change it. Do you mind? I was like, I don't give a shit. It's two different songs. We obviously have two different styles. So I think that they can live side by side. I think you can listen to both. If you like one, you'll love the other. Like, just go.
I thought that was just so interesting that like the name Do It Like Dolly is just not very common. I'm like, what are the odds that two drag queens in this same exact season come out with,
well, here's the gag though. I recorded that song 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Because most of this album has been, of this past album, the Gummy Bear album, the majority of it was recorded a couple of years ago. And then I added a few things and like freshened up some of the tracks before we released it with the beginning of the season. So I didn't even think to like sit or like when Kylie was doing Dolly Parton for Snatch Game, I didn't think to sit there and be like, oh, you know, I wrote a song about Dolly Parton. It's called Do It Like Dolly. But she came out with it, and it's great.
I think that I've listened to your album. I listened to some of her music. I think that both are great. You're right; they're completely different. So it's not like So I think that people should definitely support you both. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, but I'm excited to be back with our podcast again.
Me too. I'm sorry, I've been a busy girl.
Same here, bitch. I've been a little MIA, but I'm back. So
back again.
Yeah, I'm excited to do some more of these. So thank you all for listening for today, and continue to support us. Trinity the Tuck on all my social medias.
Ginger Minge, just find me, go to gingerminge.com. You can find all of my socials right there.
Yes. Did you prepare a game today?
I did not prepare a game for us.
Yeah. Oh, boo. Okay. Well, y'all gonna have to stay tuned for the next podcast for us to come up with another one. That game's so fun.
It is fun. And, you know, people have really been loving it, too, because I've been getting emails from people going, girl, you should check this one out, or you should try this one. I've Googled half of those porn titles, and I would not suggest it. It's frightening.
Well, hopefully we'll get to play that game again soon. Anyway, it's been fun catching up with you. And until next time, guys, thanks for listening.
Yeah, remember #Team Ginger.
Yes, Team Ginger. All right.
Woo! All right, honey, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.